Hiya folks, JD here, and today we've got the Simtoo Fairy. This is a small folding selfie quadcopter with 4 brushless motors, and to be honest it comes in at a very good price. It has a battery with a battery life of up to 16 minutes, 1080p HD camera that apparently outputs frames a second at 30, which I'd be quite impressed if that actually happened. Now, we're looking at a 16-minute flight time, as I said, and it also has GPS as well as optical flow. And here she is, all pulled out. Small, under 250 grams. Oh, just looks really nice. Quite nice build quality to her. I'm quite liking these arms. So I've brought her out here today to a different place. We're going to give her a spin and see exactly how good this camera is in moderate weather. Alright then folks, let's get her calibrated. Now then, the calibration steps for this should be quite simple. We do have an app, so what I'm going to do, click and hold to turn on the quad. There we go. Now you have a little, you're probably not going to see it in this light, but there's a little blue LED flashing at the back there. We're going to connect this to my transmitter first. So it should be auto binding, but I have just used the 1 up and 1 down just to bind it, just to be on the safe side. The LED indicator has changed now, so we should be able to connect. Now the password for this should be 1234567890, apparently. Let me see whether that is the case. I've just tried the obligatory 1 to 8, which a lot of them are. Yeah, it's 0 to 9. Perfect. So it does say in the manual to connect the transmitter first, then connect the phone. So that's exactly what I've done. Now I'm opening up the Fairy app. Let me connect. Select device to control with. So I'm going to select the remote controller. Allow it to use my signal. Yes. So let's start recording my screen. I am going to get some raw image from here as well. I do have a class 10 16 gig SD card in the side, and as long as that doesn't fail, we should be good. So as far as this is concerned now, we should all be ready to fly. So I'm just going to double check. I'm just going to go through some of the other settings in here first, looking for calibration more than anything. So calibration setting, accelerometer, calibration has succeeded. So what I'm going to do for a second is just give it a couple more seconds. 8 satellites. Okay, we should be good. We should be good. So with that, folks, let's take her up. So we've got to unlock first, and then we get 5 seconds in order to throttle up. So let's unlock. Stay out of the way of those motors. It takes a couple of seconds, then they'll start to spin, and then let's throttle up. Right then, folks, we're up, and we've got a bit of a wallower. So what I mean by that is when she was moving then, she was wallowing quite a bit as she was just standing still. Now, what I've had to do is I've had to update the firmware. I've had to ensure that that is fully up to date before I even took to the skies, because it was telling me that I couldn't fly until I'd updated it. So I had updated it, and now it's automatically switched from optical to GPS. I've started recording some video, and so far I'm just looking at how stable this is in the air, and I think this is going to be a good one. I really do. Now I'm on a bit of a mound here today, so it's going to be a little bit intriguing to fly. That's why I came here. Whoa! Oh, and it's landed. Why is it landed? That is a bit insane. Let's pick you up. That just took itself off and then landed. That is very weird. Okay, so let's clear this grass away from here and let's try again. So let's click to unlock. Now the motors should start spinning, then we get 5 seconds to take off. Really? Come on. I'm going to stop recording video for the second. I've dropped from 100% battery down to 87, and still I'm not getting anywhere with the quad. Let's have a look. I wonder why it landed itself. So that's definitely not one to be taken quite far. So let's, because if it's just going to land, I don't want to be taking it right the way through the clearing in front just to find out that it's not going to be able to do anything. That is very weird. Okay, the LED at the back is flickering, but that's what usually happens. So that's not that much of an issue, but it's not responding to any of my transmitter commands. Are we still, I'm going to give it a second in case those motors start up. I don't have my hands anywhere near it, even when they are just idling. No, okay. Yeah, camera's still connected. Fairy is, well, a little bit warm, not overly. And there's no other way, that's just gyro calibration. See, there's no way else I can start these motors without pushing this button. And if it's not responding, then that, I'm going to keep my finger on it, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to do anything, because that's not how I started it. I started it just with a single click, and then the motors went into idle after about 3 to 5 seconds. Right, okay. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to turn it all back on again, and see exactly how that does. So let's knock all this off. Yeah, that's back on. Let's close the app. Let's attach the transmitter. It's auto binding anyway, but I always one up and one down because I'm used to it by now. Right, that looks to be okay. Hang on, is it? Right, XT175. Okay, I think let's open up the Fairy app. Now I've got an idea as to why that may have happened, but I don't know if it's going to be if what I'm thinking is correct. Right, let's see. Single click, motors should start now. There we go. Up we go. And she's up. And that's great. Let's get some video going. Let the optical flow sensor find its way, and then it should just keep itself there. That's quite nice. We got GPS, 14 satellites. Now, I'm not going to throttle on as much as I did. I think because I throttled on, you could really see it. If you look back at that clip just before when it was down there, it came at me, and its angle of attack was about 60 degrees. So maybe it's because I throttled on far too much that it decided to land. Or maybe because I was too low, it detected that it needed to land. So I'm going to keep myself up a little bit higher with this, and I'm just going to do a nice gentle flight for the second, try and see whether or not, see, I don't want to go too far with it, and I don't want to certainly have it hanging over a tree if it decides it wants to bring itself down again. So my throttle response on, ooh, that's okay. But throttling straight ahead, really, this is a quick little thing. That brushless motor set is really, really responsive. So just to let you know that my throttle response on the right thumbstick when I'm pitching forward, see her jumping? What's that all about? And I'm pushing up and she's still wanting to go down. She's wanting to land. I can't stop her. She's going down. She's going down. Landed. What the hell? Now her throttle response, or my throttle response, was about 15% open on the pitch. That is all it was. Sorry, my pitch response, not my throttle response. And then when she's landed herself, it's almost as if a failsafe has kicked in, because then I've got to go back through and I've got to reset it every single time. Right, aircraft disconnected. It's not disconnected at all, and I'll show you how much it's not disconnected. Look at that, it's moving. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a few photos, because I at least want to see exactly how good this camera is. Maybe it is quite literally a response thing, so maybe I've got to be really gentle with it. It's really violent though when it goes forward. And let me see if this switch on the side does anything. Doesn't look to. Let's get a little bit closer to this tree and let's take a few snaps of something like this. She doesn't feel, see, when she flies, I think she flies well. She's a little bit lumpy and a little bit bumpy, but I think all in all she flies quite well when she flies. That's the key, because you've got to look at it at when she flies, because now she's hovering, I can move her around and I get good video relay. I mean, she's not far away from me. I should be getting good video relay. You know, I can move her down into this area. I've lost video relay. Right, so now going back to line of sight, I got video relay again. This is running at 5.8G. Now she's just taken herself up even higher. I got no control. No control. I have absolutely, look, I got no control over it. Oh, I got control back. What is going on with this? Is she going to land? I think she's coming back to land, you know. I think she is. Yeah, she's coming back to land. But yet there's nothing on screen that says landing. She's at 50% battery, or so it says. Maybe her battery level is a lot lower than what it's actually relaying from here. I mean, how long have we been up? We've been up, yeah, that's her battery. That's it, we've been up the full length of that battery. And yeah, 50% battery left, but apparently there's not 50% battery left. Right. And she brought herself home. Or should I say she brought herself above me, and then as I was manoeuvring her, she was lowering herself. But now I've got, there we are, now I've got full control back, 64% battery. Now we've got a bit of a wind hitting us head on. She was moving back towards me then, as I'm sure you could see. Actually, I've been recording from this camera here on the floor 16 minutes and 29 seconds. But how much of that has actually been me flying? Probably only about 7 or 8 minutes. Because the rest of it has been trying to get this calibrated and trying to get this to take off. Which is a lure into itself. It really is. It's not an easy thing to do. Now we're down to 48% battery. You see, I would understand it bringing itself home if it turned round and if it said low battery. If there was a low battery warning, then I fully expect it to bring itself back. No problems at all. But it didn't. It just brought itself back. Now I'm not using any pitch with it, but any roll with this when I turn, just using yaw for the time being, and trying to limit the amount of control responses I'm putting through the quad. And I think this is the longest she's been in the air. I really do. And when she flies, damn, she flies really, really well. Those brushless motors are quiet. She moves very, very well indeed. Everything about it is nice. But when she doesn't fly well, and of course you've got scratches on her body as well from where she's come down, she's hit the grass and she's been at an angle and the blades have then cut through the plastic. But look at this, look how slow I'm going. This is not, you know, I am not ripping up the place here. I am literally taking my time as I'm flying. And every single time that I'm taking my time, she's okay. Now she's at 36% battery and 37% battery. I wonder how well she's actually doing though, because 35% battery. Now I'm not recording any video this time, I'm just flying it. And I'm being really gentle with my responses. Let me show you, right? My responses are extremely, probably 25% on the pitch there. Bit more in the throttle just to get her up a little bit higher, because we have got, obviously, as I said at the start of the video, we have got a bit of a dip here. We are on kind of like a middle of an incline. But my throttle, look at my pitch. I'm hardly using anything. I'm too scared to, if I'm honest. If I push too high, too far, she's going to land again. Now, I don't know that to be fact, but every single time that I have really let her go, there we are, she's bringing herself home again. Now look, no control whatsoever, at 31% battery, return to landing. Oh, RTL. Whoa, that's not where you took off from. So it does, it says RTL up in the top left. But even with that, look, she's not, oh, she is landing. She is landing. But it's such a controlled, short landing that she's not, oh, grass cutting, that she's not actually, she wasn't actually doing anything. Now, also says no. Doesn't say whether I'm using optical flow or GPS. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see, yeah, I can start it. So obviously, there's no failsafe system that has kicked in that has said this is an issue. She's just able to fly. But look, it still says aircraft disconnected. But yet I have got full control. This is buggy. This needs to be sorted. This, I mean, you can't, I mean, buying this isn't expensive, this drone, right? When you consider some others. It's not an expensive quad. But at the same time, for what you're getting, I expect this to be polished. I really do. Maybe not polished as much as DJI, but I expect it to be usable and in a way that I can actually use it and its function properly. Now it still says aircraft disconnected, so I'm going to try this again. Still says aircraft disconnected. Now last time when it said that, I moved it around a little bit, and in about 5 minutes it said aircraft reconnected. There we are, reconnected. Warning, low battery. Now it says 23% battery, so it'll say that auto landing will occur at 15%. So at one point this must have been hitting return to home, which it was because we saw in the top left. So the battery must have been at about 15-20%. Now it's at 20%, and now it's starting. Is it starting to land? No, I've still got control over her. Now it's gone from null to saying GPS. This thing is buggy as hell, mate. Honest to God, guys, I'd leave us alone. Leave us well alone. This is going straight back. I am not happy with this one bit. I mean, you can see the LED indicator at the back flashing more. There we are. Now it's landing because I have no control over the throttle. So there we are. Terrible landing, but it's still landing. Right. Okay, so my verdict on the Simtoo Ferry. Well, right. Let's look at the positive stuff and then we look at the negative. The negative far outweighs the positive. So the positive was that when it's flying, it's a very good flight. Its optical flow sensor holds it well. The GPS holds it well. It switches between optical flow and GPS very well. Its flight is true. It's a bit wallowy when it turns, but its turning angle, its turning arc is pretty good as well. It's pretty tight. All in all, it's a very light copter. It's the right size and the right shape to be a selfie quadcopter. So you can just put it in your pocket and it weighs next to nothing. The transmitter, once again, is perfect. Really works well. Having to turn this on first and then the transmitter, again, that's standard quadcopter procedure. But again, if you would hear that, you shouldn't have any issues. But then we come down to the app. Now, the app didn't work properly. It gave me false readouts. Sometimes we had telemetry, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes it told me that it was disconnected, even though I had full FPV and I had full control of the quadcopter through the transmitter. And I could see exactly what was going on. It wasn't as if there wasn't any video relaying. Then we had the constant disconnections when it would just bring itself down when I was well within 10 or 20 meters of the quad. Then, even when you took it back up, you had to reset it once again because it just wouldn't automatically unlock and take itself back up. So you had to, it actually lost bind. Then I had to rebind it again and take it back up. Then I went full positive pitch and it landed again. So I thought maybe it's full positive pitch that's causing it to land. But even then, when I had on a half or quarter positive pitch, it still landed. Its turning circle is very good. Its arc is very, very sweet when it turns, very nice. I felt as if I had control over it when it was flying. When it wasn't flying, which is more often than when it was flying, it was very annoying. Sometimes the transmitter would bind, other times it wouldn't. Other times when the transmitter did bind, the app would fail. All in all, it's just infuriating. So infuriating. Because we're paying proper money for this, and I feel as if, and with this particular one, I feel as if I've been a beta tester. I really do. And even an alpha tester is as far as I'll go for this. I don't even think this is good enough to be a beta tester yet. Now, if you take the app issues aside, if you take all the negatives aside, and you just look at its flight, it's good. Do I recommend it? No way. Not on your life. I honestly don't. And I'm going to keep on flying it. I did say in the video I was going to send it back. Yes, I did rage quit a little bit there. But I'm going to keep on testing it. I'm going to keep on upgrading it. There's going to be regular updates around this to see exactly how this is going. I'm so disappointed, as I'm sure you can tell. I really had high hopes for this. But, I mean, the best feature of it is the battery life.
I had over 16 minutes. Okay, I chopped the video down because there were lots of stops and starts, and that's not fun for anyone. But yeah, I had over 16 minutes because I had my full camera recording, and that was recording, I think I finished off at about 22 minutes. So yeah, I'm really happy with the battery life, but there's no point in having battery life if the damn thing doesn't fly. So I tell you what, I'm going to stop ranting. You get the idea from what my experiences were with this. Hopefully other people have had better experiences. Hopefully this is just a dud. But I don't know. So I'm going to watch some of the other reviews and see exactly if they had the same issues as me. Right then, folks. So I'm going to keep you up to date on this. And that's all I can say, really. Thanks ever so much for watching, my friends. I really appreciate your support. I've been JD, and you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Thanks ever so much, folks. See you very, very shortly. Take care of yourselves, and happy flying.